Dragonflight has old god stuff, at least in part. I mean, we always knew that with Deathwing, right? Now, we today have collected all the hints Blizzard included in the game, and we're now fairly certain 10.1 is going to have a lot of old god lore within it. But unlike the absolute whiplash of BFA going from faction war straight to surprise N'Zoth is free, the campaign isn't even finished yet in 10.0, and we've already been outright told by a combination of things that we're going to see some old god stuff soon. Before we get started though, this is how obvious Blizzard is being. There's at least one old god eye in the waters around the Dragon Isles, and here's another that's telling you to help me pay the bills with today's sponsor. Squarespace. I've used them for a long time because their award-winning templates are just fantastic, and by supporting custom CSS and code injection, they even let you do the fancy things if you want to. You get all of that incredible peace of mind, also with fully functioned e-commerce, memberships, mailing lists, and even more built in. Basically, they make the daunting easy, and that means that as a business owner, they make my life easy. Also, I do notice when people stand out. When somebody has a really great personal brand, a professional-looking portfolio. All those things will improve your prospects and help you stand out in a pretty damn crowded world. When you share a link to your site, it forms somebody's digital first impression of you. I mean, think about it from their perspective. Maybe they're sifting through 50, 60, 100 people. So make your impression count with Squarespace. I've used them for a job site and a quick overview site for our games project, and that's a job site that in the new year you'll be seeing more jobs appear on. And with their extensive, watertight feature set that's extremely easy to use, I know that I've got the confidence to hit them up again for future projects if I ever need to turn around a great-looking professional site in short order. So you can hit up squarespace.com/Bellular Gaming for a free trial. And in that free trial, you can build your full site. You can just play around with all of their different templates, have an explore, have a rummage around, get to grips with it, and then you can send that live with 10% off an annual plan with code Bellular Gaming. A big thanks to Squarespace for being such a long-term supporter of our work and for re-signing up for 2023. They really do help. We really appreciate it. So let's go. In Uldaman, we discovered books discussing Kaz Algar, a place populated by dwarves unlike those we are familiar with, evolving independently from ours, yet somehow still speaking the same language and looking the same. Kaz Algar, or Sector AR938, as it's known to the Titans, was the source of an anomaly at a fissure beneath the earth. This obviously reeks of old gods, maybe some Yogg-Saron because of course he made the Curse of Flesh. Could also, of course, be someone new. There have been 5th Old God rumors, some of those were even tied to Xal'atath. Now, if you think an underground dwarven kingdom called Kaz Algar sounds like a patch zone, then yeah, you're in agreement with us. Okay, step 1, an anomaly of an old god beneath the ground. Step 2 is what happens during the leveling campaign in Thaldraszus. On our accidental journey back to the Black Empire, we hear a lot of old god whispering. At first, it appears to be reused dialogue and boss fights. But on closer inspection, we actually realize that N'Zoth is directly talking to us with new lines. These lines, of course, are as cryptic and prophetic as ever.
I know you. What you were. What you will yet be. You will follow him to the deep places. The dark waters will flow in his wake.
So, through his ability to foresee all possible outcomes, our presence, right, then confirms to him that we are the ones that eventually kill him. From his perspective, seeing all those possible timelines, if he sees who kills him in one timeline, and then he sees us show up, he kind of knows where he is. Bit weird, but kind of what's going on. The second whisper suggests that a male will go deep and cause a current of existing dark waters. Right, so we've got 2 male threats right now. Number 1, Iridikron, the Earth Primal Incarnate, the one who's closest to going insane and wreaking havoc like Galakrond. And of course we've got Morzond, the infinite form Nosdormu is foreshadowed to take in this expansion. However, if this very nice scene with Chromie is anything to go by, Morzond and the Infinite may not be as dark and dangerous as we think. Could be a Ridicron, or perhaps one of the potential Black Dragon aspects that we've been questing with. Since, of course, Old God corruption and dealing with Deathwing's legacy, it's all possibilities. I mean, come on, sins of the father and all of that. Most likely, it is a Ridicron, though, since they are setting him up as the proto-dragon version of Neltharion. He is the strongest, oldest, and most connected to the Earth, and he's also made terrible bargains. Okay, the Dark Waters then. In the Uldaman books that we find, and a few Thaldraszus quests, it's revealed that the waters beneath Uldoris, also known as Tirshold, are vulnerable to the elements. The purpose of the complex is to cleanse and then orderify the water. If whatever he does leaves dark waters in his wake, then that does somewhat suggest that Tirshold will be involved. Maybe it'll be destroyed. I mean, that would kind of make sense, because if it was destroyed, maybe we'd end up with a deep place under Tirshold to use as our patch zone. But that would leave us in a tough spot, though, because Kaz Algar does kind of sound like it's a very different place. But then again, all we know is that Earthen were sent there from Northrend, and that it's a great distance from Uldaman, so not that much. It's possible that Kaz Algar, Sector AR938, could be an ancient, buried, almost dwarven kingdom beneath the Dragon Isles, full of Yogg-Saron water. Additionally, there's a lot of map area in Thaldraszus that's not being used. I mean, who knows? If the mountain range somehow blew up, we could sure find a way down into something. And on that, Tarjan the Blind shares tales of how the Jarradine Elders are said to have evolved from proto-Earth giants into the lava-infused Jarradine beneath the surface of the Earth. And it was also there that Ridicron sought out Sarka, who is the boss of Nethalrus, and asked for their aid in the battle against the Titan's dragons. Even if it's not Kaz Algar down there, there is at least a whole bunch of Primalist allied Jarradine. For a brief moment then, let's consider that we've got two races of Earth creatures that have went underground and evolved into something different. The Jarradine infused with lava, the Kaz Algar Earthen becoming dwarves. One, a native Azeroth race in the Jarradine sort of giants, and another one, Titan Forged. But in both cases, the same thing happened. A little bit like with the two different types of dragons, the very proper-looking Order ones and the more, I guess, gnarly-looking Primal ones. Okay, let's return to Whispers, though.
With many eyes, they will see again. They will drink and be uplifted. Deeper its roots will reach, welcoming our embrace. Her dreams sing beneath the surface. Our dreams, our song.
Well, these are big. The first seems to say they, whoever they are, will either ascend or revive with these dark waters. And seeing again is interesting. Is it a black dragon being corrupted again? A secret void-related history to the proto-dragons? Maybe the waters from Tirshold flowing down to Kaz Algar, reawakening dwarves? I don't know. Something's fishy, but it's just too early to tell. The Many Eyes thing could refer to Yasharj, I guess? Now, the second whisper mentioning roots is a bit scary, but that's mostly because at this stage, come on, let's leave the trees alone, they've suffered enough lately. The similarities, though, between the Azure Span and the Grizzly Hills can't be overlooked, given the relation to, of course, the world tree that Yogg-Saron corrupted, Andrasil, now known as Vordrasil. There's, of course, also the seed that Taronda has, which we had believed to be safe from immediate danger. So, these roots, then, are likely metaphorical. Either that, or I guess we're finally being led into an Emerald Nightmare expansion. But I wouldn't have expected that. At any rate, though, those are N'Zoth's whispers. We're going deep and flooding the place with old god juice. Probably. And then we've got to consider the last line. Her dreams, our song. This could mean so many things. First, the old gods have already had enough influence on Azeroth to sway her to their way of thinking, maybe. Don't forget Odin's words about the Black Empire's advancements. Maybe The Titans were really worried about how far the Black Empire had gotten influencing Azeroth. There's a second, far-fetched option that Azeroth and the Old Gods may have had the same goal all along. Who knows? Additionally, we've heard her dreams sing beneath the surface before. We've heard that from the Oracle in Zereth Mortis. So, I don't know. What are Old Gods exactly? Why are they saying something that an Oracle from Zereth Mortis said? Next, then, I have a side quest for you. This is really big. Tarasek and the Sundered Flame, found in Emberwatch in the Onaran Plains, are being driven mad by an artifact they discovered in the ruins of Nethrezan, which is Deathwing's old haunt. Fascinating, then. We do a lot of murder while being whispered to by this black locust. It doesn't say much until we pick it up. Then it whispers, "Seek me below." So this is clearly an Old God artifact related to Deathwing, suggesting that we seek something related to the Old Gods and Neltharion's history in the deep places we follow him to. It might not even be fully hostile, and if you were to go full tinfoil hat, maybe you could even say it's some surviving Yogg-Saron thing. But, to be honest, there are many possibilities here. I mean, remember the rumors of the 5th Old God under Tirisfal because of the heartbeat sound? I mean, that did turn out to be false in Legion, but then there was a bit of a theory being bandied about a 5th Old God that was all to do with the artifact weapon text description of Xalatath back in Legion, so maybe that idea was reworked somewhere else. Who knows? To have some Old God-like creature underneath Tyrhold would be interesting. The other vibe that we get then here is that N'Zoth might not have been the one that got his hands on Neltharion first. Perhaps. And clearly, though, Neltharion was influenced by, or communicating with, whoever is speaking through this locus. I mean, the locus was found in his old laboratory. Think about it this way. Most of what Blizzard does in their cinematics is to tease, or pay some things off, but also tease and set up future events. So if you ask yourself why they showed Neltharion asking the Void for help in those Legacy cinematics, I mean, the only right answer is because they wanted us to see that so they could use it later by putting the locus there so that we could find it in a side quest. To explore an example of that, imagine a modern, larger version of Deepholm and Ironforge merged together with Jarradine everywhere. Some Old God influence. Maybe the dwarves are on our side, the Jarradine are our enemies. We fly our big dragon around vast, underground, Tolkien-esque caves. It would sound pretty amazing, right? For the plot, though, Iridikron is free. That's how the raid ended. He was known as the most powerful and dangerous, the closest to essentially going in a Galakrond-like direction, it seemed. He's Earth-aspected, and Tarjan the Blind says he's made a deal with the Jarradine. Now, Nosdormu mentioned that the other Primalists don't know the true depths of his, Iridikron's, depravity. So we suspect, then, that perhaps Iridikron will betray the other Primalists, maybe try to, Galakrond-style, consume one of them for more power. We're going to save that for a future video, though, because today is all about Old Gods. And this is where a major spoiler comes in that's very relevant. So during the beta, data miners discovered the name of a map called Dragon Isles Underground. This map had a large warning about staying flagged as a development map until 10.1. And it pretty much just confirms that we're going underground. Meaning this all fits together, perhaps a bit too perfectly. So basically, there's our theories about 10.1. We are going underground beneath the Dragon Isles. It may be Kaz Algar, and that's probably why the book discussing AR-938 was discovered in Ultiman, because whatever it was, maybe Tyr was researching it. The reason we think that this is going to be quite Old God heavy is because of Neltharion's legacy, the Black Locust and all of that. Of course, how Iridikron seems similar to him in being a Earth-aspected, powerful dragon that made some sort of terrible deal, and the fact that we went to the Black Empire when we went time traveling. Could have went literally anywhere else. Why did Blizzard take us there? Obviously, to make us think about Old Gods. I mean, that in itself is just such a major clue. Oh, and also, if we're dealing with the dark past of the Titans, don't forget the time that they actually just went and made an Old God that we had to kill. That's the first raid of Battle for Azeroth. Because man, that expansion covered a lot of ground. This expansion is also on the down low, doing a lot of very small thematic teases, things that will build up and weave into the future. We'll get to them in a future video, but there's a lot of references to light and void and how that split is represented in other places, like in the Bronze versus the Infinite, and it's all about, one true timeline versus many possibilities. Honestly, it's interesting stuff, and what I like is that it's being explored in-game a little bit more naturally, and the pacing feels better. I mean, a whole bunch of that stuff was just found talking to Tarjin the Elder, or Tarjin the Blind even. Talking to Tarjin, seeing all of the Jaredine cave paintings and learning about their history, that kind of thing. It just felt really good to me. So overall, I'm excited to see where it goes. If we can be in the fun style of Legion style Old God Whispers and, not in just rushed BFA chaos or Shadowlands stuff that doesn't really even feel real anymore, then that's going to be pretty damn good for me. And with us finding out that there will be 6 patches in 2023, with a few of them outside of the major content patches, even including story content, that does make me feel that Blizzard will have the narrative room to actually tell the stories they want to tell. And that would be pretty nice. Okay, that's it for me. Have a great day, and of course, if you want some awesome lore, check out this next in our Dragon series.